Have you ever felt that some actions, whether intentional or not, push the limits of respect in our relationships, with family, friends, or even strangers? Respect is a cornerstone of Islam, guiding how we treat others and how we navigate our own boundaries. Yet, in today's fast-paced world, we often overlook subtle but significant acts that can deeply hurt others and, more importantly, displease Allah. Imagine standing before Allah on the Day of Judgment, only to realize that what you considered minor slips were actually major shortcomings in how you treated others. What would you do if these acts of disrespect became the very reasons for your accountability? Boundaries are essential in Islam. They protect not only our relationships but also our souls from transgressing the limits Allah has set. Disrespect, whether through words, actions, or attitudes, erodes trust and harmony. It's not just about how we interact with others, it's about how we uphold the dignity Allah has given to every human being. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said, "None of you, truly, believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself." Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Respecting boundaries is a form of love for Allah, for His creation, and for the values He has instilled in us. In this video, we will uncover 7 acts of disrespect that many of us unknowingly commit, acts that can damage our relationships and spiritual well-being. From the way we speak to the way we handle others' feelings, these seemingly small behaviors carry immense weight in Islam. Let's explore what these 7 acts are, the wisdom behind avoiding them, and how we can transform our lives by adhering to the boundaries Allah has set. Because the truth is, understanding these boundaries isn't just about better relationships, it's about strengthening our connection with Allah and preparing for the ultimate journey toward Him. 1. Speaking harshly or raising your voice. Imagine a young man who came to the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, asking a question. Instead of dismissing him or responding harshly, the Prophet answered with kindness and patience, even when the question was naive. This was the character of our Prophet, PBUH. Allah commands us in the Quran, "And lower your voice. Indeed, the most disagreeable of sounds is the voice of donkeys." Surah Luqman. Speaking harshly or raising your voice is an act of disrespect, whether toward parents, siblings, spouses, or even strangers. It not only hurts others but also diminishes your own dignity. How many times have we spoken to loved ones with frustration, ignoring the pain our tone may have caused? Ask yourself, would I speak to the Prophet, PBUH, this way? Would I want Allah to judge me for my words? Soft speech is a form of respect and a way to uphold the boundaries Allah has set. But respect is not just about speech. It extends to how we interact with others physically and emotionally. 2. Ignoring someone's pain or need for help. The Prophet, PBUH, once said, "The believer is like a mirror to other believers." Abu Dawood. This analogy reminds us of our duty to reflect compassion and concern. Yet, how often do we turn a blind eye to someone in need because we are too busy? Islam emphasizes empathy and support. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "Whoever removes a worldly hardship from a believer, Allah will remove one of his hardships on the day of resurrection." Sahih Muslim. Ignoring someone's pain is a form of disrespect. It denies the dignity and care that every Muslim is entitled to. Think about a time when you needed help, but no one came forward. Would you want to feel that isolation again? Respecting boundaries means recognizing when someone needs our time, not just our words. While compassion is essential, sometimes disrespect comes from an entirely different source, our lack of control over our own words. 3. Gossiping or backbiting. During a journey, the Prophet, PBUH, overheard companions talking negatively about someone. He immediately reminded them of the gravity of backbiting. He said, "Do you know what backbiting is? It is to say something about your brother that he dislikes." Sahih Muslim. The Quran warns us, "Do not backbite one another. Would one of you like to eat the flesh of his brother when dead? You would detest it." Surah Al-Hujurat. Gossiping isn't just a social mistake, it's a violation of someone's honor and a direct disobedience to Allah. How many conversations do we engage in that revolve around others' faults? Would we want someone to expose our shortcomings in the same way? If we guard our tongues, we take a big step toward respecting boundaries. But it's not just words, actions can also cross dangerous lines. 4. Invading someone's privacy. Once, Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A., was walking through Medina when he heard a man inside his home engaged in behavior he disapproved of. Umar climbed over the wall to confront him. The man immediately responded, saying, "O leader of the believers, I may have committed one sin, but you have committed three. You spied on me, you entered without permission, and you entered unlawfully." Umar acknowledged his mistake and left without punishing the man. The Quran explicitly commands, "Do not spy or enter houses without permission." Surah An-Nur. Privacy is a sacred boundary in Islam, and invading it, even out of curiosity, is a serious act of disrespect. Have you ever read someone's messages, listened to a private conversation, or probed into matters that didn't concern you? These acts not only break trust but also displease Allah. Respecting someone's privacy is crucial, but so is showing consideration for their time and commitments. 5. Being habitually late or wasting others' time. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was known for his punctuality. When he set a time to meet or a promise to fulfill, he honored it without delay. Compare this to how often we dismiss the value of others' time. Delaying unnecessarily, canceling plans without notice, or showing up late are acts of disrespect. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "The signs of a hypocrite are three. When he speaks, he lies. When he promises, he breaks it. And when he is entrusted, he betrays." Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. How often do we make excuses for being late or wasting others' time? Respect means valuing the time Allah has granted not just to us, but to those around us. Time management is a form of respect, but it's also important to respect physical boundaries. 6. Being physically aggressive or intimidating. During the farewell sermon, the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, declared, "Your blood, your wealth, and your honor are sacred to one another, as sacred as this day, this month, and this city." Sahih Bukhari. This statement was a clear reminder of the importance of safety and dignity in all interactions. Islam forbids physical aggression, even in anger. The Prophet, PBUH, advised, "The strong man is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who controls himself when he is angry." Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Whether it's a small shove or an intimidating stance, any form of aggression violates the boundaries Allah has set. Do you find yourself losing control of your temper, letting frustration lead to harmful actions? Respecting boundaries means mastering your own emotions. Finally, we come to an act of disrespect that is often overlooked but deeply impactful: breaking promises. 7. Breaking promises and betraying trust. The Prophet, PBUH, was once entrusted with a valuable item by someone who didn't even believe in his message. Despite the differences, the Prophet safeguarded the trust and returned it without harm. The Quran emphasizes, "Indeed, Allah commands you to render trusts to whom they are due." Surah An-Nisa. Breaking promises or betraying trust is not just a social failure, it's a spiritual one. How often do we make promises we don't intend to keep or betray the confidence someone has placed in us? Think about how these actions affect not only our relationships but our accountability before Allah. Now that we've explored these 7 acts of disrespect, it's time to reflect on how to avoid them and strengthen our boundaries in a way that pleases Allah. Now that we've explored these 7 acts of disrespect, it's clear that Islam places immense value on the dignity, time, and trust of others. Whether it's the way we speak, the promises we make, or the privacy we respect, every action reflects our relationship with Allah and His creation. The Quran reminds us, "And speak to people good words." Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse isn't just about polite speech, it's a comprehensive guide to building relationships rooted in respect, compassion, and care. By avoiding these 7 acts, we don't just improve our character, we fulfill an essential part of our deen. Imagine standing on the day of judgment, watching the scales of your deeds being weighed. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "Nothing will be heavier on the believer's scale on the day of judgment than good character." Sunan Abu Dawud. Disrespect, even in small forms, could tip those scales against us. But the beauty of Islam is that every moment is a chance for change, a chance to purify our hearts, mend our ways, and earn the pleasure of Allah. Offer a solution or actionable advice. Start today. Reflect on your own life. Have you raised your voice unnecessarily? Ignored someone in pain? Betrayed someone's trust, even unknowingly? It's not too late to change. Ask for forgiveness from Allah and from those you may have hurt. The Prophet, PBUH, taught us to make istighfar, seeking forgiveness, regularly, as it wipes away sins like water extinguishes fire. Practical steps. 1. Monitor your speech. Before you speak, ask yourself, will this please Allah? 2. Value others' time. Be punctual, reliable, and considerate. 3. Guard privacy. Respect boundaries, whether in person or online. 4. Seek forgiveness. If you've wronged someone, approach them with humility and apologize. 5. Strengthen relationships. Show kindness to family, friends, and strangers. It's an act of worship. Think of how beautiful our communities would be if every Muslim upheld these boundaries. Families would thrive, friendships would deepen, and societies would be filled with love and trust. Most importantly, Allah would be pleased with us. Let this video be more than just knowledge. Make it a turning point. Share these lessons with others, so we can collectively work toward a better ummah. As the Prophet, PBUH, said, "The best among you are those who benefit others." Sahih Bukhari. If you found this reminder beneficial, share it with your loved ones. Remember, a small act of spreading knowledge can lead to immense rewards. Let's strive to be among those whose scales of good deeds are heavy on the day of judgment. May Allah guide us, protect us from disrespecting others, and help us uphold the beautiful boundaries of our faith. Ameen.